It is day 10 of A Beautiful Year in the Bible. Um, did y'all really think I was going to be doing the Bible study in the snow? If you know me, you know I am not going to do that. I love the beach, I love the sunshine, I love 80 and up. And my husband, he loves the winter, he loves cold. So he has made it a point to go and ride the four-wheeler through the snow. My daughter has went on her winter wonderland walk, and I have got to sit inside, drink my coffee, and watch them do all these activities. But I did make snow cream. That was about all the snow activities that I participated in today. And so the rest of the time, I'm going to be snowed in, reading my word, spending time with the Lord, and spending time with my family, and just enjoying a down day. And I hope y'all do that too. But now let's get into, we are on the second week. We are on day 10. We're going to be reading Genesis 4 through 7. And I'm going to go ahead and just play all the way 4 through 7, all that scripture. And then at the end, I'm going to do commentary on it. And we're going to talk from 4 to 7. We're going to talk about all that commentary. So get ready and sit back, relax, get your coffee, get your drink, and enjoy listening to the Bible reading.
Chapter 4. Now Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain, and said, I have acquired a man from the Lord. Then she bore again, this time his brother, Abel. Now Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in the process of time it came to pass that Cain brought an offering of the fruit of the ground to the Lord. Abel also brought of the firstborn of his flock and of their fat. And the Lord respected Abel and his offering, but he did not respect Cain and his offering. And Cain was very angry, and his countenance fell. So the Lord said to Cain, Why are you angry? And why has your countenance fallen? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin lies at the door. And its desire is for you, but you should rule over it. Now Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother, and killed him. Then the Lord said to Cain, Where is Abel your brother? He said, I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. So now you are cursed from the earth, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you till the ground, it shall no longer yield its strength to you. A fugitive and a vagabond you shall be on the earth. And Cain said to the Lord, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Surely you have driven me out this day from the face of the ground. I shall be hidden from your face. I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond on the earth, and it will happen that anyone who finds me will kill me. And the Lord said to him, Therefore, whoever kills Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark on Cain, lest anyone finding him should kill him. Then Cain went out from the presence of the Lord, and dwelt in the land of Nod, on the east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Enoch. And he built a city, and called the name of the city after the name of his son, Enoch. To Enoch was born Irad, and Irad begot Mehujael, and Mehujael begot Methushael, and Methushael begot Lamech. Then Lamech took for himself 2 wives. The name of one was Adah, and the name of the second was Zillah. And Adah bore Jabal. He was the father of those who dwell in tents and have livestock. His brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of all those who play the harp and flute. And as for Zillah, she also bore Tubal-Cain, an instructor of every craftsman in bronze and iron. And the sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah. Then Lamech said to his wives, Ada and Zillah, hear my voice. Wives of Lamech, listen to my speech. For I have killed a man for wounding me, even a young man for hurting me. If Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, then Lamech 77-fold. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bore a son, and named him Seth. For God has appointed another seed for me instead of Abel, whom Cain killed. And as for Seth, to him also a son was born, and he named him Enosh. Then men began to call on the name of the Lord. Chapter 5. This is the book of the genealogy of Adam. In the day that God created man, he made him in the likeness of God. He created them male and female, and blessed them, and called them mankind in the day they were created. And Adam lived 130 years, and begot a son in his own likeness, after his image, and named him Seth. After he begot Seth, the days of Adam were 800 years, and he had sons and daughters. So all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. Seth lived 105 years and begot Enosh. After he begot Enosh, Seth lived 807 years, and had sons and daughters. So all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. Enosh lived 90 years and begot Canaan. After he begot Canaan, Enosh lived 815 years, and had sons and daughters. So all the days of Enosh were 905 years, and he died. Canaan lived 70 years and begot Mahalalel. After he begot Mahalalel, Canaan lived 840 years, and had sons and daughters. So all the days of Canaan were 910 years, and he died. Mahalalel lived 65 years and begot Jared. After he begot Jared, Mahalalel lived 830 years, and had sons and daughters. So all the days of Mahalalel were 895 years, and he died. Jared lived 162 years, and begot Enoch. After he begot Enoch, Jared lived 800 years, and had sons and daughters. So all the days of Jared were 962 years, and he died. Enoch lived 65 years and begot Methuselah. After he begot Methuselah, Enoch walked with God 300 years, and had sons and daughters. So all the days of Enoch were 365 years. And Enoch walked with God. And he was not, for God took him. Methuselah lived 187 years, and begot Lamech. After he begot Lamech, Methuselah lived 782 years, and had sons and daughters. So all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. Lamech lived 182 years, and had a son, and he called his name Noah, saying, This one will comfort us concerning our work and the toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Lord has cursed. After he begot Noah, Lamech lived 595 years, and had sons and daughters. So all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. And Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begot Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Chapter 6. Now it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves of all whom they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not strive with man for ever, for he is indeed flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came in to the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. Then the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And the Lord was sorry that he had made man on the earth, and he was grieved in his heart. So the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, creeping thing and birds of the air, for I am sorry that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. This is the genealogy of Noah. Noah was a just man, perfect in his generations. Noah walked with God. And Noah begot 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. So God looked upon the earth, and indeed it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted their way on the earth. And God said to Noah, The end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them. And behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make yourself an ark of gopher wood. Make rooms in the ark, and cover it inside and outside with pitch. And this is how you shall make it. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, its width 50 cubits, and its height 30 cubits. You shall make a window for the ark, and you shall finish it to a cubit from above, and set the door of the ark in its side. You shall make it with lower, second, and third decks. And behold, I myself am bringing flood waters on the earth, to destroy from under heaven all flesh in which is the breath of life. Everything that is on the earth shall die. But I will establish my covenant with you. And you shall go into the ark, you, your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives with you. And of every living thing of all flesh, you shall bring 2 of every sort into the ark, to keep them alive with you. They shall be male and female. Of the birds, after their kind, of animals, after their kind, and of every creeping thing of the earth, after its kind. 2 of every kind will come to you, to keep them alive. And you shall take for yourself of all food that is eaten, and you shall gather it to yourself, and it shall be food for you and for them. Thus Noah did, according to all that God commanded him, so he did. Chapter 7. Then the Lord said to Noah, Come into the ark, you and all your household, because I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. You shall take with you 7 each of every clean animal, a male and his female, 2 each of animals that are unclean, a male and his female, also 7 each of birds of the air, male and female, to keep the species alive on the face of all the earth. For after 7 more days, I will cause it to rain on the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and I will destroy from the face of the earth all living things that I have made. And Noah did according to all that the Lord commanded him. Noah was 600 years old when the flood waters were on the earth. So Noah, with his sons, his wife, and his sons' wives, went into the ark because of the waters of the flood. Of clean animals, of animals that are unclean, of birds, and of everything that creeps on the earth, 2 by 2 they went into the ark to Noah, male and female, as God had commanded Noah. And it came to pass after 7 days that the waters of the flood were on the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, On that day all the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened. And the rain was on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. On the very same day Noah and Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons with them, entered the ark. They and every beast after its kind, all cattle after their kind, every creeping thing that creeps on the earth after its kind, and every bird after its kind, every bird of every sort. And they went into the ark to Noah, 2 by 2, of all flesh in which is the breath of life. So those that entered, male and female of all flesh, went in as God had commanded him. And the Lord shut him in. Now the flood was on the earth 40 days. The waters increased and lifted up the ark, and it rose high above the earth. The waters prevailed and greatly increased on the earth. And the ark moved about on the surface of the waters. And the waters prevailed exceedingly on the earth, and all the high hills under the whole heaven were covered. The waters prevailed 15 cubits upward, and the mountains were covered. And all flesh died that moved on the earth, birds and cattle and beasts, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth, and every man. All in whose nostrils was the breath of the Spirit of life, all that was on the dry land, died. So he destroyed all living things which were on the face of the ground, both man and cattle, creeping thing and bird of the air. They were destroyed from the earth. Only Noah and those who were with him in the ark remained alive. And the waters prevailed on the earth 150 days.
All right, so we're going to talk about God's divine guidance and provision because that's this week's theme. This is not meant to be an in-depth Bible study. There is so much in Genesis that we could spend a whole year talking about it. But what we're doing is we're just going through these scripture readings. We're reading the Bible, but we're talking about God's guidance and provision. And so in chapter 3, or no, not chapter 3, chapter 4, we got to read about Cain and Abel. We got to read about how there was a division. Cain killed Abel, and then so Cain, his line was cursed, and then we have the line of Seth. And the ended up being that the line of Seth was traced to Jesus. And so we can see that it tells us in chapter 4, verse 26, it says, a son was born to Seth also, and he named him Enosh. And at that time, people began to call on the name of the Lord. It wasn't until Seth's son was born that Enosh, and at that time they began to call on the name of the Lord. And then that is going to be the seed of Jesus, right? The seed of woman. And so we go on to talk about how there was evil in the world. There was sons of God and daughters of mankind were having relations. And God saw that all human wickedness was widespread on the earth, and that every inclination of the human mind was nothing but evil all the time. So it says that in chapter 6, verse 5. And then it goes on to say in verse 6, it says, the Lord regretted that he had made man on the earth, and he was deeply grieved. Then the Lord said, I will wipe mankind, whom I created, off the face of the earth, together with the animals, creatures that crawl, and birds of the sky. For I regret that I had made them. Noah, however, found favor with the Lord. So Noah found favor with the Lord. And so God warns Noah about, hey, God is giving divine guidance to Noah. He is providing for Noah in this time frame. And it's all because he was receiving God's grace there. That was God being gracious. And Noah and his family would be saved in the ark along with the land and the air animals. And God gives him divine guidance on how to build the ark. He tells him what animals to put in there. And it's all, we only have the animals that we have today because that's what the Lord commanded Noah to put on the ark, if you think about it. It's really good to think about. If you think about God's divine provision of what he had given us, and he did that all through Noah putting that on the ark. And then it goes on to talk about the Lord said to Noah, enter the ark and all your household, for I have seen that you alone are righteous before me in this generation. So it was a horrible generation, an evil generation, and Noah was the only one that God had found righteous. And then he ended up telling him he was to take male and female of all the clean animals. He even took some unclean animals and put them on the ark, I'm sure for sacrifice reasons. I mean, he provided everything, and he did that all through the ark. And then it goes on to talk about the flood, and God even provided ways for them to eat and be provided for on the ark. And then afterwards, it talks about, and we'll talk about that in chapter 8, where the flood recedes. But the Lord shut them in. He provided for them. He gave them guidance to build the ark, all that. And I just think it's so beautiful because what we're learning through this, seeing God's divine guidance and provision, is the character of God. And that's the whole point of us drawing closer to the Lord. How can we draw closer to him if we don't know his character? And I think that it is super important. That is one of the things that I am making notes about, is God's character. And I'm just about his graciousness and his provision and his love for us. And I'm just making notes about that on the side, personal notes. But that's one of the things I'm wanting to grow closer to the Lord with, is just learning more about his character and who he is. Because the more I can learn about him, the more that I can grow closer to him. And how can we grow closer to something we don't spend time with, right? We need to have a relationship with the Lord in order to get to know him more. And so I hope y'all have enjoyed the Bible study. The sun is setting. The snow is going to start melting tonight. I hope tomorrow we wake up and it's not icy, but it looks like that's going to be the case. I hope y'all had a lot of fun playing in the snow today. And tomorrow we will have our Bible reading. Let me get the thing. We will have our Bible reading. We may be trapped. We may not. Is Joshua 6-8. We get to read about Joshua. And also look at your reflect questions on week 2. In what areas of your own life do you desire to see more of God's guidance and direction? Just reflect on leaders and individuals facing turmoil in each of this week's passages. So we see individuals that were facing turmoil in each one of these week's passages. What are the qualities that drew them closer to God or pushed them away? And I just don't know. Like, I don't get it. I'm going to have to do some more studying on Cain and why even God was gracious to him. God made him, he told him he was going to be a wanderer, but then God was gracious to him and even marked him so that nobody would kill him. So he was providing for Cain, even though Cain had sinned against him. So I need to do a more in-depth study on that myself personally as I learn. But I'm not here to learn more about Cain. I'm here to learn more about God. And so he was more gracious. And I think that is a great sign of how we should be, even more gracious to people who have sinned against us. I mean, Jesus teaches us that, right? And so it says, consider the promises made and fulfilled through these chapters. How can these promises continue to bring hope into your life and the lives around you this week? So be thinking of those reflect questions and be answering those, and really consider them, because I think this is how we're going to grow closer to the Lord, is getting more in depth with our Bible study. All right, I will talk to you tomorrow.